All right, guys, before we jump into this video, I just want to say a big thanks to everybody who subscribed, commented, all that good stuff. Been a lot of information out there about the FRT 15, some really good stuff, some misinformation. I try not to get into all that. But anyway, guys, look, if y'all think that the ATF should be a convenience store instead of a rogue government agency that's going around taking our rights, go ahead and subscribe to this channel because we're going to get into a lot of that. And we'll see what the future brings. But appreciate everybody. Let's get into the video. What's going on, guys? We're Legend TV here, back with a video and kind of an update to the FRT 15 and kind of a hypothesis of what's to come depending on the outcome of the court battle. So as I'm sure you're aware, FRT 15 has been labeled a machine gun by the ATF. Rare Breed is fighting this, but what I want to talk about is kind of why the FRT 15 is a semi-auto and what if the courts allow the ATF to maintain that it is a full auto machine gun, what this means for all semi-automatic triggers. So, you know, the FRT 15 behaves as a semi-auto. There is no like a semi-auto. It is a semi-auto because it has positive displacement in the trigger. Now, full auto, when you pull the trigger stays back, and the auto sear allows the disconnector to be disengaged and the hammer to fall, all while the trigger is being pressed back. There is no movement in the trigger whatsoever. The trigger is in a depressed, I think that's the correct term for it, depressed, pressed position. It is fully back and the gun is running. In a semi-auto, and as I'm sure you're all aware, use this AR-15 lower. So when it's safe, nothing happens. The safety blocks the hammer. But when the safety selector is set to fire, when you squeeze that trigger, the hammer falls. Now, on a full auto, the bolt would cycle, the hammer would go back, the auto sear would hit the disconnect once the bolt is home, and the hammer would continue to fall, or would fall, strike the firing pin, and the cycle repeats, all while this trigger does not move. Now, semi-auto, when that bolt cycles, it presses the hammer back down, engage it to disconnect. As you remove pressure, it resets the trigger. And now you squeeze the trigger again, the gun fires. Now, if you let off at this point, now it's slow-mo here, let off at this point, the trigger is just kind of free floating. But watch the trigger, and I hope you can see this. When the hammer goes back, you have positive displacement in the trigger. The trigger moves forward. This reset that occurs in all semi-automatic triggers. Now, the FRT 15 does this exact same thing. That positive displacement in the trigger occurs in the FRT 15, and your finger pulls the trigger again. All that FRT 15 is doing is allow you to make those follow-up shots a little faster. So what does this mean for positive displacement triggers, i.e. all semi-automatic weapons? If the ATF is allowed to maintain that the FRT 15, this positive displacement trigger is a machine gun, there's nothing stopping them from going and saying all positive displacement triggers are a machine gun. Essentially stating that this mil-spec two-piece trigger that is 100% semi-auto right now can be labeled as a machine gun down the road if the FRT 15 is classified as a machine gun. I hope this is kind of making sense to you because this has widespread implications for everything. Your handguns, your rifles, any semi-automatic rifle, any semi-automatic shotgun, all of them can be classified as machine guns based on the premise of positive displacement. if the ATF is allowed to continue doing this stuff. Like I said, Rare Breed is fighting this, and God, I hope they win, because there is nothing that will stop the ATF at that point. If they can get through, and especially if during the court proceedings they use the term positive displacement, trigger reset, stuff like that, if that gets brought in and it's labeled as a machine gun, the ATF can piggyback on top of that and say, yes, every positive displacement trigger is a machine gun. At which point it will turn this into a machine gun, and you will essentially have to convert all of your AR-15s into bolt actions. Every semi-automatic shotgun will be outlawed. Pistols would be outlawed. All your semi-automatic pistols, you have to go back to single action only pistols where you're cocking the hammer every single time you pull the trigger. And so it's kind of scary, the implications that this court proceeding can have. I hope it's making sense to y'all. I'm going to keep this video short. We're just over 5 minutes right now. But that's kind of my thoughts on it. Y'all let me know in the comment section below what y'all are thinking. It's kind of scary what's going to be happening here in the near future. I hope I think it's the Sixth Circuit it's currently in. I hope they will say, no, ATF, you're overstepping your bounds. And then, of course, it'll have to go to an en banc judge or panel, and then probably the Supreme Court, or maybe I'm thinking the Sixth Circuit for the bump stock case. But anyway, whatever court it's in, we're looking at a long battle, and I hope we can win, because this isn't just about Rare Breed FRT-15. This is about all semi-automatic triggers. Rare Breed's doing a good job. They're a pretty based company. They stand by their product. You can't return the trigger if you have it. But anyway, guys, for me, I hold nothing against Rare Breed. You signed the contract when you bought the trigger, or you agreed to the contract when you bought the trigger. So I hold nothing against Rare Breed during all this. I hope they can win. But anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Really appreciate y'all. Really appreciate y'all's time. And we'll see what all this stuff brings. So till next time, y'all, stay armed, stay safe, keep your head on swivel. Y'all be good. We'll see you in the next one.